Welcome to Lesson 5 to the CSS hands-on portion of our Lesson 5. So what we're going to be doing now is having fun by adding some CSS to our HTML. This is what you're going to start with. This is where you should be at right now, and this is where you're going to end at. Now, what's the main thing that we're going to be, do you notice? What do you notice right off the bat? So if you can think of CSS, it can do three main things that it does is it gives our HTML some color. We can control the font, and we can also control the layout. Now for lesson 5, we're going to focus on color and font. And so far what the browser has been controlling that. The browser has chosen the color it wants to give our HTML, which has been a white background, black font. It has also the font style. So this is the font it has chosen so far. Everybody has the same exact font. And also it has chosen the layout, right? Everything's flushed to the left, and it's deciding how much space to give on each block, how much space to give your content. Now, if you're noticing to the right, we are now going to have an opportunity to decide the color of our background, to decide the color of our text, the color that we want to give different sections of it, and the size of our font. If you look at this size here, this is the H1, we can say, you know what, I want it to be bigger, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And also the font style, right? This font looks very different from this font. And those are the two things that we're going to focus on today is our color and our font. So let's get started. Okay, so this is where you should be at, right? My first website. This is your, we're at the home page. This is what things look like. And one thing I do want you to notice is that, let's see here. There should be a link right here. There should be, there's the link going right here, right? This link is going to be directly, it's linking to your CSS file. So it says link reference, the style is .css, and that's what it's linking to. And that's really important that you understand that. Replit added this link for us, but some code editors don't add that. So if you were working on another code editor, you would need to do that, add that link yourself, okay? So that's the main thing I want you to notice. So now we're going to go to our CSS, and which is right here. And I've already added some code. Your page, your file for your CSS should be completely blank. And I'm going to show you how to code in our CSS file. One thing I want you to know is that our selectors for our CSS are going to be the elements that we have here in our HTML. And that is our body, our nav, our header. These elements are going to be the selectors that we're going to use in our CSS. So let's get started. I'm going to go to my CSS style, and this is what you should have. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the body element. So this is called let's get started here. The body is a selector. I'm going to use curly brackets, type in, and they come in sets of 2. So you notice 2 curly brackets popped up. Hit return or enter. And now I'm going to the property. I want to give it a background color. So I'm going to start typing in background. And you're going to see things populating, and you can say, I said background color. It's scroll down and click on it. Automatically, the properties there, and then it's got a colon, so that you need that colon or else this will not work. And now I'm going to pick a color, and I'm going to say gray, because I want you to visually see how this is going to change to gray, semicolon, right? So now it's a complete. I have my 2 curly brackets, my property, colon, semicolon, and I'm going to hit run. And that's changed to a gray color. That's too dark for me. So I want something a lighter gray, so I can backspace. And I'm going to type in white smoke. That's a light gray. Run that again. Much, much better. That's exactly what I want. Okay. So I've already picked some selectors ahead of time and I commented them out. And just like you can comment out in HTML, you can comment out in CSS. And you would do a /, a star, and whatever it is that you're going to comment out, and then end with a star and a /. So I'm going to uncomment this. You're going to type in header, and I'm going to comment that out for right now. We'll get back to that. And now the selector is the header. And I'll just do that this last time. So here's my header. Oops. Right? And it says my favorite Pokemon. So that's what I'm selecting. I'm going to come back over here. My header and then curly brackets. Hit enter return. And inside the curly brackets, you're going to, on that second line right here, you're going to type in color. And I'm going to choose, I want Dodger blue for my text. So for the text, you just say color and it automatically knows that you're talking about the text. And the background in my header, I want it to be yellow. So I'm going to hit run. And there we go. Blue text, yellow background. The next color that I want to change is going to be my H2. So I'm going to uncomment this. You will type in H2. And I'm going to again type in, do the curly brackets, hit enter and return, type in color, and I'm going to choose lime green. So this, which is my H2, my Pikachu is in an H2, is going to change to lime green and hit run. Okay, so there it is. Now I'm scrolling down and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you know what? I think I want to change this to an H2. So what that's going to do is the CSS will automatically just say whatever H2s you have in your HTML, they will all change to lime green. So I'm going to go back to my index and I'm going to change this H3 to a 2. So I'm just backspacing 2. That's all I did. Just took that H3 and changed it to an H2. And if I run this, there we go. And that's exactly what I want. So I'm going to go back to my style sheet. And something to keep in mind as well is whatever I do, this CSS style is being applied to every single one of my pages. Every single one exactly the same way. So if I click on my Charmander, it applied it there. If I click on Jolteon page, it applied it there. Okay? So now I don't want this font. And if you remember, I gave you a list of fonts that you could pick from that were browser friendly fonts. I'm going to choose a font and I'm going to apply. I want all of this to have the same font. So I'm going to come to the end because I want it in my body, right? I want it applying all my text and all my text in the body. I want it to be the same font. I'm going to hit enter or return, and I'm going to say font family, and there it is. It's the fourth one. I'm going to click on that, and I want the font family to be Verdana, and it's the very first one. And what I need to add a semicolon, right? And now this font is going to change. So I'm going to hit run. And there it is. And that's the font I want. Okay. So now the next thing we've already done color and we've already done, we're starting to do, we picked the font family. Now I want to work on the font size. H1, heading 1, that was the biggest in the headings, right? It went from H1 all the way to H6. And this, I believe, was the H6. Now, if I were to open this in a new tab and look at it on my browser, that's what I see. Personally, I would like this to be a little bit bigger. And because of CSS, we can change that to be a bigger size. So just like I'm going to comment this out right here. So I'm going to just backspace, hit tab. There we go. And you would go ahead and type in font size in your header. And now I need to hit enter and then close that curly bracket or else this will not work. There we go. You're going to type in font size, and just like our images, this is going to be in pixels. So I'm saying I want it to this H, my header. I want the size of my header to be 42 pixels, and it's going to be bigger. So I'm going to run that. And it looks really big here, but if I come out here and I run it, that's about right for me. So that's what I want. So I can do the same thing if I look at this and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm noticing that here my my anchors, my linking text is really tiny. I want them a little bit bigger. I'm going to go back and I'm using CSS. I'm saying that's my nav bar, right? So I want to change the font size in my nav bar. So I'm going to uncomment this out, delete that. And right now, let's see, what size do we have? I don't remember. I think we just gave it whatever I think it's whatever the browser. Yeah, so the browser picked the size. So now I'm saying, you know what? I don't like the size the browser has picked for it. So I want it 22 pixels. I'm going to run this, and it's bigger, and I think it's a better visual over here. Run that, and that's much better. I like that. Okay, so we have, that's all we're going to do for today. I want you to focus on, in your body, pick a background color, pick a font family. In your header, pick the color you want for your header, pick the background you want in your header, and pick a font size that you would like. Just change different sizes right here using pixels. The nav, same thing, give that a new font size, and then change the color of your header. One thing I want you to notice is all I did was change things in my index page, but if I go to my page, this page, I already changed it there. Make sure that you're changing, whatever I changed, the H2, I think I changed, it's already changed. I must have done that earlier. Don't forget to change your H2 in each one of your pages to H3s, okay? And now you have something that looks different from what you started. And in our next lesson, we're going to start looking at the how things are laid out. We don't want everything flushing over here. That looks a little ugly. Look at my paragraph. It's running all the way to the end. I want to control that, and we can. So we're going to focus on that in our next lesson. And if you've noticed, I've already given my title. I have my title name. I have the title for my H2. I've already entered my paragraph, and my list items, I've already written something down. So if you already have content, start using your content, and start with one page of your website. And once that one page is complete, you can move on to a next page. I'll see you guys later on.